Hello and welcome to the show. For today's Hot Wheels Showdown, I've got a Lotus. The Elise is going to have a try around this circuit. Now, from what we have seen in this series, handling has been very, very important, but you still need a certain amount of power. Now, the Elise is going to have, I suspect, more than enough grip. It's whether it's going to be fast enough, whether it's going to be quick enough accelerating and be able to hold a high enough top speed, that is going to be the question. Certainly through the corners we should have no issues with this car, but I'm curious to see how it ends up. We're going to have two 2.5s at the front and two 7.5s at the rear. Pretty nice big tyres, actually, at the back of this car, which is nice. I am expecting to be flat out through a lot of corners with this. By far and away the most handling-orientated car that I will have built. But it's what happens with the power, what happens with the straight line speed and so on. That may be the bigger question. We don't have a too terribly high starting PI, but I'm going to hazard a guess that the power parts that we do stick on the car are going to jump the PI up very, very quickly. Now, I will try and make this work with the standard engine before we go, or before we potentially go and swap it out. I don't know if it'll get to the top of the top of S1 class with this standard engine. I mean, it's a good standard engine, don't get me wrong. And as I said, the power that we do add into it is going to jump up the PI relatively quickly. Yeah, we should be able to do it, actually, with the car's standard engine. We should be able to get to the top of S1 class, it is looking like. Now, I've chosen at the moment not to go for weight reduction, seeing as the car is pretty damn light to begin with, and focus the PI points I do have on getting power, getting all of the power that we can into the car. Although, before I do that, I might have used a little bit too much. I do need an adjustable gearbox. Okay, no, that's fine. It drops the PI down by one. I'll take that. I need an adjustable gearbox just in case. In fact, I say just in case. I'd imagine the gear ratios in this are going to be very short, so it'll be quite useless for the particular course that we're going to be running around. 475 horsepower is not too terrible. Considering how light the car is, 475 is not too bad at all. However, it doesn't have too much weight to lug around the giant hill. Of course, it's still got far less power. We've got well less than half the power of a lot of other cars that have got in this series. So it may still struggle with the kind of final loop and potentially the ultimate sort of top-end speed. But we should be able to carry so much speed through the turns that maybe, just maybe, our Lotus can challenge the Holden. So, with the Elise, we are off to the Skyscraper takeoff circuit, where I am going to have 5 laps to try and go faster than the Commodore's 1:32.8. A mighty quick time. Now, the fastest Lotus to go around here was the 311, though that wasn't the easiest car to drive. A 35.7. Decent through the corners, the 311, but it really, really struggled. We lost so much time when it came to the loop towards the end of the lap because it doesn't have the top-end speed, which is where this little Elise might fall down. I'm hoping that we might be able to make up enough time through the corners to compensate for that, but you never know. God, the turn-in this is rather good. In fact, it turns in so well, it's easy to make mistakes, actually, through that turn 3. Turn 4, we will be, I imagine, flat out once those tyres are warmed up without too much in the way of a problem. Now, how fast can we be through here? Not flat out, but I think that is also because we're going a little bit faster. Almost 150 miles an hour through there. Again, we might be able to do that flat out as well once the tyres are up to temperature. What is the speed going to be like down here? 160 miles an hour? Now, that's the sort of bit where the Lotus is likely to struggle. Now, we have to have relatively long gears in the vehicles, otherwise they'll buzz the limiter when they hit the boost pads and go round the loop. But a car like the Elise, for example, will potentially have more issues where it just simply doesn't have the power to accelerate. It doesn't have 700-800 horsepower to accelerate out of some of these corners as we now head towards the loop. Well, it's a good run off of that second boost pad, but what do we do speed-wise? it's only 170-ish miles an hour. Dive to the inside on the run to the final corner. 193 is all the car can manage, but the brakes are very, very good. Traction should be good. It's a 35.7 from a standing start. Oh, this is gonna be quick if I don't cock things up. I was a little bit brave there. Well, I mean, you got to try these sort of things. When it's only on the second lap, you know, you go for it. We're going to be very, very oversteery. The back end does, I mean, as good as the car is, the back end is still going to let go when pushed very hard through some of these corners and across the top of the crest there. It kind of has the grip to get away with flat out through some of these turns, but we've got to be mindful. You have got to be mindful of the rear end in this car stepping out. I would have hoped with decent sized tyres and with a fairly mighty wing going on, we might have had a bit more rear end grip. But not quite the case. 161 this time around. I still think that this is going to... It's going to break up the golden era section a little bit. We're going to slither and slide our way out of there, though. This lap's not been good. The first lap was pretty solid. This lap, not quite so much. Can we be flat out through? Oh, you can try being flat out through there, but the rear end steps out and you have a big issue. Not flat out through there, so we are going to have little brakes coming into these corners, but we should still be carrying more speed out of them than just about anything else. And then this is where the hurt takes place. Across the boost pads we go. Even with what I assume is a good run for this car, it's only 201 miles an hour off of that pad and only 174, about 10 miles an hour down. About 10 miles an hour down on cars, some cars with bad runs around there. It's 194, but I can be even braver on the brakes into that final section. Okay, the 37 something was a terrible, terrible lap. Now, let's not do anything stupid this time around. Let's just focus on at least getting a clean lap, something a little bit more representative of the car's true pace. I think I clipped the the flag with that mighty wing. It did the job, at least. Now I have to just little lift, settle the car before we jump on the power. So much grip. It's nice. It's been a while. I think since the Testarossa we've really had a car with this sort of levels of grip. That's 143 miles an hour, new fastest car through that section. And again, I'm not actually needing to get on the brakes, just to lift off the throttle and the car will carry the speed. But it needs to, because if you don't, you don't have the power to accelerate down towards the next corner. Oh, big oversteer moments can occur from this car, considering it's got decent sized tyres and some of the least amount of power that we have seen go around here. I might have hoped to have a little bit less oversteer. Would have been nice, but there we go. Now up towards the boost pads we head. 201 miles an hour. This isn't looking good. Oh, we got away with it though. We got away with it. It landed. I had enough time to come back down onto all four wheels because it's not going as quick, and still get a good run, or as good a run as the Elise will get off that second boost pad. How late dare I leave it on the brakes? Even later than that you can go, I think, with this car. Little bit of oversteer once more. 34.3 from the Lotus. Can I get more time out of the car? I mean, it's right there. Maybe the 32 is asking a little bit too much. Maybe the 32 is asking a little bit too much, because I mean that felt like a pretty damn good lap, and I mean there's always room for improvements, but I'm not sure we've got quite sort of a second and a half's worth of room for improvement in all of that. But then again, I say this many times, I've said it before about cars, and you never know when you can suddenly find a lot of lap time. I was a little bit slow on the way. I thought I turned in a fraction too soon in all of that. I hadn't. I could have got away with it, but I'd rather have a little lift than risk plonking a wall and really screw up the lap time completely as we slow our way down through here. Let's try and not get wheel spin. A little bit of a short shift on the exit there to try and... I don't think that change of direction just causes this car to want to burst into wheel spin. We are better around here this time. Can't carry that much speed there. Thought I could get away with that. It's such a nasty... It's the tightening radius of that turn is a real nasty bugger of a corner. Once more off the boost pad we go. This, I think, is going to be a better lap. Now, as I said with the previous vehicles, if we do get a faster lap when it is a dirty lap, it will still count. I will go back frame by frame to check the speeds of the car. Oh, it's trying to get used to that weird braking zone into that corner. Although that was a very, very similar lap time, I think. I think it was a 34 something or other. Into turn 1, we carry a lot of speed into turn 1. Actually got some understeer for the first time in this car there, trying to get that turned in. It's very nice indeed through turn 3 and turn 4 here. Yeah, this is a good section for the Elise, and I think it's by far and away the fastest car up towards that checkpoint there. It might even still be the fastest down this part and through the next corner, but then is where it starts to lose a little bit of time. We've knocked off the wing. Don't worry, it's only visual cosmetic damage, if you like, so that's not going to affect the car's performance. We've not got any loss of downforce from that. That's the tiniest knock as well to take off the wing. We super glued the wing onto the back of this car. Now, get it slowed. I am tending to go on the brakes a little bit early through there, but it's just to get it slowed down and neatened up for the exit here, because if we are really aggressive with a slightly wonky line, I don't trust this car with the amount of oversteer that it likes to get. This is such a nasty, even in a great handling car like this Elise, that is still a really, really nasty corner. Off the boost pad we go. We are flying flat, we are flying level, we're off the secondary one as well, up to 201 miles an hour once more. The most consistent car in terms of its speed off of the boost pad. Just a shame it's consistently low. Oh, I tried to be sneaky and dove a little bit too much to the inside there. Get the car slowed for that final corner run to the line. It's a 33. It's a faster lap. 33.727 is a good lap time. It's a good lap time for a car that, of course, is always going to struggle with straight line speed, excels in the handling. It's right up there. It's right up there at the crowded end of the table. In fact, I just realised what lap time that is. We have a three-way tie. The first time ever in a Builds series, and we have a three-way tie, and two cars in a row have set identical lap times, because the 33.7 will put the car into a joint fourth place. It can't quite match the Sierra or the Ferrari Testarossa. I think in the end, the straight line speed is what made the difference, and I think is where we're so far down on the Commodore. The Commodore, not quite as quick through the turns as this one, but so much faster in a straight line, and it holds much more speed around the loop. The dive down into towards the final couple of corners, the Holden can carry 200 plus miles an hour, and this is not. And that's where the Holden, I think, makes its difference, because it is still very good through the corners. This car matches the BMW M3 and the Subaru Legacy for lap time. It's only a 10th down, exactly a 10th down on that Sierra Cosworth, and that is all made up through the corners. Brilliant car to drive through the turns, as I said. Certainly through Sector 1, I think this is up there as the fastest car. Maybe even down the split section and so on. I think it can certainly match everything through there, but that straight line speed towards the end is where it loses out. It beats, though, the Mazda MX-5, Mercedes 190e, Toyota Supra Mark III, you know, that very much golden era of cars. It's right in the mix. It's right in the mix is the Elise. Little bit more straight line speed, and I have no doubt it would monster the leaderboard, but that's what we can get out of it in S1 class. A good fun car to drive. It's nice. Been very nice having a car with a lot of grip. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.